What is up guys, my name is Ignas, welcome back to the channel. Last week we made a dividend comparison on 3 names from the beverages industry, so I would like to keep on going through the same market sector, and for today's dividend comparison I've picked 3 largest names from the household and personal products industry. The first name for today's dividend comparison is Procter Gamble, ticker symbol PG. In 1 year the stock is down for 10.19%, but zooming out to 5 years there has been some growth, plus 59.77%. PG will be the largest name of the 3 with a market cap of $344.8 billion US, and it is now trading at a dividend yield of 2.51%. Second name in our comparison is Estee Lauder Companies, ticker symbol EL. In 1 year it is down for 15.74%. But zooming out to 5 years, the growth was quite decent, plus 93.97%. Market cap for the company is $93 billion, and it is trading at a dividend yield of 1.01%. And the third name to compare is Colgate-Palmolive Company, ticker symbol CL. In 1 year it is down for 9.29%, though still zooming out to 5 years, differently from the previous 2, it still remains down for 1.61%. This is a company with a market cap of $63.7 billion US, and here we have a dividend yield of 2.47%. So these will be the 3 names that we are comparing today, and for easier tracking let's use Google Sheets. So I've prepared the tables with the ticker symbol SIN, and for a dividend comparison we'll use 5 different metrics. Dividend yield, dividend payout ratio, years of consecutive dividend increases, 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate, and the current dividend yield compared to its 5-year average. We'll check these metrics under each ticker and add the numbers into this table. Then we'll assign points to the best numbers, sum up the results, and the stock with the most points will be considered the winner of this dividend comparison. I hope that the rules are clear, and early thumbs up would be very much appreciated, and with that out of the way, let's begin. So the first metric we are comparing is the dividend yield. It is calculated by taking the annual dividend per share and dividing it by the share price. Procter & Gamble is currently paying an annual dividend of $3.65, so at the price of $143.98 per share, we here have a dividend yield of 2.53%. Now Estee Lauder, their dividend is at $2.64, so at the price of $260.06, that is a dividend yield of 1.02%. And lastly, Colgate-Palmolive, the dividend is $1.88, so at a share price of $75.91, we get a dividend yield of 2.48%. Metric number 2 is the dividend payout ratio. Percentage here shows what part of company's earnings are being paid back to investors as dividends. So for Procter & Gamble, the dividend payout ratio is at 58.36%, meaning that around 3/5 of company's earnings are being used to pay dividends. Switching to Estee Lauder, and the situation here is a bit better, with a dividend payout ratio of 37.03%, so just a bit more than 1/3 of earnings are used for dividends. And lastly, Colgate-Palmolive, with a payout ratio of 54.60%, so just a bit more than half of earnings distributed as dividends. Metric number 3 is the number of years with consecutive dividend increases. So for how many years the company has been increasing dividends? For at least 1 quarter every year. With PG, they have been consistently increasing dividends for the last 67 years. Now Estee Lauder, and the number is not even close, with 3 years of consecutive dividend increases, and then CL is way closer but still behind, with 60 years of increasing dividends consistently. Metric number 4 is the compound annual dividend growth rate. For the comparison, we'll take the 5-year average, including the estimate for 2024. So with Procter & Gamble, their 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate is at 4.33%. Now EL, with a dividend growth rate of 8.32%, and then Colgate, with a compound dividend growth rate of 1.91%. The last metric is the dividend yield compared to its 5-year average, and for that we'll use my dividend investing watchlist on Google Sheets. So we are in the tab for Procter & Gamble. Here is its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years, and on average the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 2.66%. So the best time to get into the stock was back in 2018, with a dividend yield of 3.68%, above the 5-year average for 38.40%, and the worst in the beginning of 2022 at 2.13%, below average for 19.9%. Though if we would be taking the stock right now at a dividend yield of 2.5%, that is still just a bit under average minus 5.98%. So this will be the number that we are going to compare. Now Estee Lauder, here is its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years, and on average the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 0.83%. So the worst time to get into the stock was in the beginning of 2021, where the dividend yield was 0.53%, below average for 35.81%, though the best time was just recently by the end of 2022, with a yield of 1.14%, above average for 38.06%. Though getting into the stock right now at a dividend yield of 1.01%, it's still quite over the average plus 22.32%. And now we have Colgate-Palmolive. Here is its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years, and on average the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 2.35%. So the worst time to get in was back in 2018 at 2.05%, below average for 12.77%, and the best yield was in the beginning of 2019, 2.69%, higher than average for 14.47%. Still getting into the stock right now at a dividend yield of 2.46%, that is above average for 4.68%. So we have the numbers for today's dividend comparison. If you would be interested in doing a similar analysis on another dividend paying stock yourself, you are able to access this watchlist by following the first link at the top of the description. Otherwise, feel free to leave a ticker or symbol in a comment below, and I'll consider adding that into the watchlist myself. Maybe you could share some interesting opportunity available in the market that I'm still missing. So we have checked each metric and the numbers are in our table. Now we can start assigning points. First one goes to Procter Gamble with the highest dividend yield of 2.53%, a point to Estee Lauder with the lowest dividend payout ratio of 37.03%, PG gets a point with 67 years of consecutive dividend increases, a point to EL with the highest compound annual dividend growth rate of 8.32%, and then one more point to Estee Lauder, where its current dividend yield is 22.32% higher than its 5-year average. So the points have been assigned and we can now calculate results. Procter & Gamble got 2 points, Estee Lauder 3 and Colgate-Palmolive 0. This means that with 3 points, Estee Lauder is considered the winner of this dividend comparison. So that was what I wanted to look into today. I'm currently holding 2 names for my consumer defensive exposure, but right now have no cash to add a new position in. We'll continue comparing names from the sector, and maybe we can find even more interesting opportunities to put new cash to work in a few coming weeks. What do you think is now a good time to be adding into consumer staples exposure? Share your best picks from the sector in a comment below. Also, don't forget to support the channel and leave a thumbs up under the video. Last week I've looked into and compared several other names, so if you are interested in any of these, then click on a video that is currently on the screen. And that was it from my side. Thank you for watching and I will be seeing y'all in the next one.